Imagine walking into a boardroom in America, extending your hand, and someone refuses to shake it just because you're a black woman. That's what happened to Rita Washington. She walked in as a stranger, but walked out holding the power to bring down an empire. Her story shines a light on how America still treats black women who dare to demand respect. A perfect morning in Atlanta. Glass towers reaching toward blue skies, hiding the ugly truths inside their walls. Rita Washington stepped out of a simple black car. Her navy dress was clean, her leather bag plain. She looked ordinary. That was exactly the plan. Rita had built Carter Investment Group from nothing. Now she controlled $50 billion. Companies lived or died by her decisions. But today, she wanted to see something else. She wanted to see their true colors. The marble lobby of Summit Tech buzzed with corporate energy. The young receptionist looked up with a bright smile that died the moment she saw Rita. The pause was tiny, but Rita caught it. She'd been reading these signals her whole life. "I'm here to see Michael Thompson at 10 a.m., Rita said calmly. The receptionist's eyes widened. "Are you with the job applicants? HR is upstairs. I have a meeting with Mr. Thompson directly." Rita Washington. The woman's fingers flew over her keyboard. She glanced between her screen and Rita's face. "Please wait over there." She pointed to hard chairs along the wall. Far from the leather couches where two white men sipped coffee from expensive cups. Rita sat and watched. She saw everything. The warm smiles for other guests. The elevator doors opening for laughing executives, all white, all male. They walked past her like she was invisible. 10 minutes became 20. 20 became 45. Rita wasn't angry. She was collecting evidence. A tall man in a cheap suit finally called her name. He led her down a side hallway to a small room with no windows, a wobbly chair, and sweating water glasses. This wasn't the bright boardroom from Summit Tech's website. This was where they put people they didn't respect. Michael Thompson walked in, phone glued to his ear. He waved at the chair without looking at her. 3 other executives followed, all white, all male, all wearing the same gray suits. One of them smirked when he saw her. They were wrong about who she was. Dead wrong. The meeting began with fake politeness. Thompson finally put his phone down and started clicking through slides full of pretty pictures and empty words. He spoke to her like she was a child who might nod along without understanding. "Your AI system," Rita said, cutting through his speech. "How does it reduce processing time without losing accuracy?" The room went quiet. Thompson blinked. "Well, that's very technical." The other men exchanged looks. Rita saw their silent laughter, their eye rolls, their certainty that she didn't belong here. She'd heard this song before. The slow beat of disrespect. The assumption that she'd stumbled in by mistake. "Perhaps we could focus on our diversity programs," Thompson said, clicking past the financial slides too fast. "It's something we're very proud of." Rita let the silence stretch until it hurt. "Before we move on, your spending reports don't match. Research costs drop 20%, but you claim you're expanding. Explain that." More uncomfortable shifting. More amused smiles. "Those numbers are complicated," Thompson said dismissively. A young assistant brought coffee. Thompson's voice turned playful. "How do you take yours, Rita?" "Let me guess. Lots of cream and sugar." The room chuckled. The stereotype landed like a slap. Rita took the cup without flinching. "Black," she said. "Like your record of keeping minority employees." The laughter died. The door opened. Another white man in an expensive suit walked in. Thompson jumped up with genuine warmth. shaking his hand and slapping his back. "Great to see you, David." Then he turned to Rita, his face cold. "I don't shake hands with staff." The room froze. Some executives looked away. Others let small smirks cross their faces. They'd seen this before. Rita didn't blink. She reached for her phone and sent one word to her team waiting outside. "Execute." "Excuse me," she said politely, standing. "I'll be right back." In the bathroom, Rita looked in the mirror, not to fix herself, but to center her focus. She called her partner Marcus. "Phase 1. Signal the analysts. Keep it quiet." Within minutes, whispers about Summit Tech's leadership began spreading through Wall Street's most powerful circles. Back in the conference room, Thompson's phone was buzzing. Summit Tech stock had dropped 1.4% in 15 minutes. "Something wrong?" Rita asked sweetly. "Just normal market stuff," Thompson said, but his voice had lost its confidence. In his office, Rita closed the door. "Let me tell you what happened today," she began. "I waited 45 minutes. I was seated away from your real guests. You spoke to me like I was stupid. You interrupted me. You called me by my first name, while everyone else got titles. And then you refused to shake my hand, because you thought I was staff. I think you misunderstood." "I recorded everything," Rita cut him off. "Georgia allows one-party recording." Thompson's phone rang. His board chair panicked about the stock drop. While he whispered urgently, Rita continued, "The market is already reacting to your leadership style." When he hung up, fear had replaced his arrogance. A few searches told him everything. Rita Washington, CEO of Carter Investment Group, 50 billion in assets, known for destroying companies with toxic cultures. "Ms. Washington," he stammered, "I think we got off on the wrong foot. If I had known." "You knew exactly who you thought I was," Rita said, standing. "That was enough for you to decide how to treat me." He moved to block her path. "We can work this out. You don't have the power to negotiate with me, Mr. Thompson." She walked past him. By the time she reached the lobby, Summit Tech stock had crashed 5%. Social media buzzed with rumors of a major investor walking out. The morning after Rita left Summit Tech, the financial world was spinning. The stock drop had deepened to 9%. Industry insiders whispered about cultural problems and leadership failures. Rita didn't need to say a word publicly. The market spoke for itself. Within weeks, Thompson was gone. The board brought in Sarah Martinez, a woman who had quietly opposed him for years. Sarah called Rita directly. "I won't waste time with excuses. Tell me exactly what changes you need to see." Rita sent her a detailed plan. Pay transparency, fair hiring, promotion tracking, cultural accountability tied to executive pay, and independent audits with public results. "Send it over," Sarah said without hesitation. Months later, Summit Tech had become a different company. The Washington Standard spread through the industry. Investment firms began requiring cultural health checks alongside financial reviews. Rita launched the Founders Forward Fund, putting $10 billion directly into the hands of overlooked entrepreneurs. She knew the barriers they faced, the same ones she had conquered. At a leadership summit in Boston, Rita stood before hundreds of executives. She didn't tell the story like the media had, full of drama and scandal. She spoke about economics, about competitive advantage, about the responsibility of those who control money to shape the world they profit from. "You might think fighting for fairness and fighting for profit are different battles," she said. "They're not. They're the same war. The companies that win the future will be those brave enough to find talent everywhere and smart enough to keep it. The standing ovation wasn't just for her. It was for the idea that business could change, not because it was forced to, but because it chose to. Rita Washington's story proves that power isn't about corruption. It's about choice. She could have walked away quietly. Instead, she chose to act in a way that forced change, not just for herself, but for everyone who would come after. Her legacy isn't a scandal. It's a standard. She showed that leadership accountability isn't politics. It's smart business. That prejudice isn't just wrong. It's expensive. That those who control money have the power and the duty to decide which values win in the marketplace. In your own life, you might not control billions, but you have influence in your job, your community, your relationships. The choice is yours. Reinforce the old ways or open doors for others. Remember, discrimination doesn't always shout. It often whispers in polite tones, in small exclusions, in lowered expectations. Recognizing those moments is the first step. Acting on them with strategy and persistence is how change becomes permanent. Rita's journey proves that fighting for fairness and pursuing excellence aren't separate paths. They're the same road. The people and companies who understand that will lead tomorrow. If this story moved you, support stories like this. Your engagement helps us share more powerful tales of justice, accountability, and transformation. The next story might be the one that changes how you see the world.